It didn't get its base out.
I'd say it's always great to see Rush Limbaugh making allusions to Spike Lee's Malcolm X. Let's bring in Ryan Grimm of the Huffington Post, Angela Rye, political strategist and principal of Impact Strategies, and Democratic strategist Chris Kofinas. Welcome so much. I want to get right to this. The dueling budget proposal, how bad is it when Ryan's budget proposal is considered not radical enough? I mean, are we in pretty bad shape there?
I mean, I don't know where they think they're going with this. You know, coming out and saying you want to raise the Social Security retirement age to 70, you want to raise the Medicare retirement age to 70, and you want to balance the budget within 4 years with these insanely draconian cuts. And first of all, the math doesn't add up, because in order to balance the budget, they would have to cut so much spending that it would tank the economy and they would lose revenues. The way that you balance the budget is to grow the economy and get more revenue, not by tanking it and giving it away.
Right. So in light of what was said here, Chris, these proposals offered by Brown and the Republican Study Committee would hurt citizens across the country, of course, including their own constituents. How far can the Republican Party go here? How will they be able to survive with these kind of not only unpopular proposals, but proposals that ultimately make no fiscal sense?
Well, I think they can go very far, right to the bottom. I mean, this is a party right now that's torn between a crazy wing and a wrong wing.
Right.
And not sure who's going to win, but they're really fighting it out.
Right.
And I honestly don't understand it, because there is no chance that this passes. I mean, there's no chance this passes and goes anywhere. There's no chance the president would sign this. It's a political statement. So then you have to ask yourself, what is the political statement for? It's to mobilize a disaffected base.
Right.
And that's the part that they seemingly still do not understand. The reason why they lost this election was not because the Republicans didn't come out. They lost because the country is changing. And until they figure that out, they're going to keep proposing things like this and serving it up on a platter for Democrats.
Right. Well, you know, Angela, given the fact that, you know, the fighting wing and the, you know, other wing, maybe it's the chicken wing as well, the inability to really, you know, step up to the plate here, the RNC report, look, Rush Limbaugh's not happy with it, the National Review isn't happy with it either. So what do Republicans do? How do they figure their way out of this corner into which they back themselves?
It's time for them to go, in the church we say, to the altar. They need a wake-up call. Like, this is, it's really time to have a come-to-Jesus moment with not only the policies, but who the messengers are, how you're getting your message out. Speaking of the Ryan budget, you have a document that essentially says, these are the things that are our priorities, and we've attached numbers to them. That's how much this matters to us. This is why the American public should pay attention to this. No, it's not going to pass. It's going to, you know, go to the House floor with the other budgets, and it's going to die right there, because the upper chamber has no interest in Ryan's priorities. When you look at the GOP, you know, a great opportunity plan or whatever it is, you know, it's not a great opportunity. There's no growth and opportunity plan, rather, because at the end of the day, you have the same tired messages, and they're not ready for a browner, newer America.
Well, given the fact that they're not, as Ms. Rye has indicated, ready for a browner, newer America, what kind of America are they ready for? Because with this internecine squabbling going on, this horrible infighting, which is not good for them from a PR perspective and not for the optics, what do they do, though, Ryan, to really kind of get themselves going on a track that makes them at least appealing to millions of people out here?
Well, I think what you have to realize is that there's actually no they. Like, it's not as if everybody speaking for the National Party and actually really cares that much about the National Party. You have, and they alluded to it in this report, they said there's sort of two parties right now. There's the National Party, which is tanking, and then there's the Governor's Party, which is doing extremely well, and they are. They have something like 30 governors. What they didn't add is there's also the House Republican Party. They control the House, and through gerrymandering, if they can keep getting a whole bunch of super PAC money into these House districts, there's no reason that they can't hold on to this House for a pretty long time, which means that there are individuals within the party that have nice little perches. Sure, they don't have the White House. They might not take back the Senate for a while, but life is not so bad for them. So they come out with this RSC budget that's off the rails, but in their districts it works for them, and for these and then for these Republican governors it looks fine to them because they look moderate. compared to what the House Republicans are doing.
Right. Well, Angela, given that fact then, and say that they want a browner America, so to speak, what do they do to reach out to those groups that they've done historically bad with recently? African-American people horribly, Latinos with this flip-flopping on the immigration issue. What kind of ways can you imagine, a couple of things for them to say, get their car back on the road, so to speak, and get out of that ditch in which they're stuck?
First, they have to acknowledge that this GOP plan is opportunistic at its best. You know, here we are, November 2012, and there was this grand plan to, institute voter ID laws and voter suppression laws that were terrible. So since they couldn't steal the vote, then now they're going to try to earn the vote the right way. So I think that first they have to acknowledge that this is very disingenuous. Second, I think they really have to start speaking to the issues that matter. They have to start sounding like people who are accepting of all Americans of all walks of life, right, with different ideals. Everybody doesn't have to be cut from the same cloth, and doesn't have to be, this template model of what a Republican should look like if they really are serious about outreach.
Well, given what Angela just said, Chris, the Tea Party has really commandeered the party at certain significant levels, or hijacked it, depending on how you look at it, or ambushed. How do they stand up to the Tea Party without losing a serious purchase on the conservative element here? The conservatives are not identical with the Tea Parties. How do they make that critical distinction?
I'm not sure they can. I mean, I think the Tea Party and the way that they have mobilized themselves scares everyone who is a current member of Congress to death, because they're afraid that if they go too far to the center, right, they're going to be primaried. Right. So this is this constant threat. By the way, even if it's not there, it's the boogeyman that sits there waiting to arise. Right. So their problem, I think, is until they come to terms with the fact that they will continue to lose at least national elections. Yeah, they'll win on a state-by-state basis, but until they come to terms with the fact that they're not going to win nationally unless they move more to the center and moderate, especially on social issues, I'm not sure things change.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Ryan Grimm, Angela Rye, Chris Kofinas, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Still to come, a North Carolina pastor stands up for equal rights. We'll have all the details ahead.
Olympus has fallen. I repeat, Olympus has fallen.
Half the White House is just gone.
Get down!